there, this is Siren, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you my first ever tarot deck, which is like so exciting. I have been wanting to film this video for a really long time, but I have been kind of postponing it as well. So make yourself comfortable and let's get into that. Yay! If you have been watching my videos, if you have been following me on the channel here or on the Instagram, whatever, for a while, you will probably know by now that my first tarot deck is not a Rider-Waite-Smith. Now, I'm gonna give the disclaimer as usual. I don't hate on Rider-Waite-Smith, okay? I just don't vibe with the deck as such. And it was never a deck that came to my life at first place, you know, like when I was first getting into tarot. When I first stumbled upon tarot, really, when I was around 11, 12 years old, something like that, you would think that I would stumble upon a Rider-Waite-Smith copy of a deck, but I didn't. I found a completely different deck, a completely different system, or the deck found me. I'm gonna walk you through that story time a little bit. But yeah, it's not going to be Rider-Waite-Smith, it's going to be something completely different. I have it in this little box over here, but it is not its original box, it's just the box I bought for another deck, by the way, but that deck didn't fit well into that. So he's living here now, and I'm super happy because it didn't have a box. I don't have an original box of it. It came with this like big box with like the guidebook inside of it, and I don't have the box. Again, as I said, my cat wants something. Give me a second, because you know what, cat wants something, you go and get that thing for them. So 1 second. Okay, I'm back now. So as I mentioned the moment ago, yeah, I got my first ever tarot deck when I was around 11, 12 years old. I'm not sure how old I was, but something like that. I was a kid. I wasn't a teenager. It was my pre-teenage years, okay? So this is why I'm kind of thinking 11, 12. So yeah. Now, I'm going to give you a little story time before I like show you the deck, because I really want to like give the deck this introduction, if you will, because I'm super excited to even have it. I spoke briefly about this deck in one of my tarot videos, not sure which one. Doesn't matter, I'm going to walk you through it again in a little bit more detail now, so like, yeah, get ready for that. So anyway, once upon a time, I was a kid, and I was always like interested in like esoteric stuff, spiritual stuff, okay? I always wanted to be able to like control the water. A cliche, I know. Such a cliche, but I really, like, I imagined myself like controlling the tides and shit, so not even the point. The point being, I have always been interested in the esoteric stuff. I hope my cat doesn't knock the camera off now. Carefully, honey. Okay. Yeah, he's coming here. He is coming here because he wants to be with me all the time, don't you? Yeah. So, gonna be together for this one as well. So the point being, I was always interested, I have always been interested in like the esoteric shit, okay? So imagine I was like 11 or 12, I walked into this, I don't quite remember if it was like an esoteric shop or a bookstore, or like store that sells like stationery and books and some spiritual stuff. I don't know what the kind of store that was even, and it's not, the store is not where it used to be anymore. I don't know what it was called. It's not there where it was, so I don't know if it like closed or moved somewhere else. I have no idea. It's blurry, okay? I have very blurry memories of my childhood and my teenage years even. So I'm not sure. I don't know. The point is, I walked in there once. I don't know what I wanted to get from there, but I just like walked around and I found this purple box with a huge name tarot on it, and like picture of a few cards. Actually, I'm gonna show you the guidebook that I have this is how the box looked like as well, okay? This was literally how the box looked like. This was inside of it, with the cards. So I saw that, and I was like, whoa, what is that? Like, what is tarot? Looks interesting. And I bought it. I just bought it. I mean, I obviously had some money from like birthday or whatever, I don't know. So I bought that box. I bought the deck with no clue whatsoever about what tarot is, what kind of tarot that is, like nothing, anything. I bought it. I unboxed it at home. I went through the cards. They were like so beautiful. And the funny fact, I remember the cards being bigger than they are actually. I don't know why. Anyway, just a funny little thing. And I started reading the book. Now the book that I have here, it's written in Slovak language, okay? I'm Slovak. And it's got this like beautiful, it's all in color, it's got this beautiful like picture of each card, it's got like descriptions, stuff like that. My camera is going to die. So I basically read through that book, right? And I was like really interested in that whole like the cards, tarot cards topic. Whoa, so cool. The only problem being that this book that walks you through tarot is all written in a predictive way, like predictive meanings of the cards, and you might know, if not, I'm just gonna quickly tell you, I do not do predictive readings, okay? I work with tarot more as in a way of like connecting with myself as well as with certain energies. I'm basing the majority of my readings on the synchronicity, right? So like the sacred randomness of things. Anyway, not the topic of this video, but just wanted to put it out there because, yeah, this book is all written in predictive way. So predictive, all the predictive meanings of the cards, I think. Yeah, yeah, it is. So I started like playing with that deck, and like I started reading for myself in a predictive way. I started reading for some people in my family in a predictive way, and it's been fun, yeah. But eventually I got not like bored of it, but I put the deck away for a while because I became a teenager and I got caught up in like a teenage drama. Okay, my teenage life, my teenage years were really difficult for me to navigate because I'm a water sign. I know you missed me saying that, so I needed to remind you of that. So tell me, fellow water signs, did you also suffer your teenage years? Because I did, and for stupid reasons, okay, but I did suffer through those. So anyway, again, another point, sorry, I'm just feeling a little bit rumbly today. But yeah, anyway, the point is the deck got a little bit like, I put it away on a shelf or something. I didn't like get rid of it, obviously. And then I remember that I brought the deck to my grandma's place, and my grandma passed away when I was like 17, 18, 19. Time, again, I think I said once that like time is such a strange thing to me, like I can't. She passed away when I was a teenager, but like a big teenager. And I remember I left the tarot deck at her place, and after she passed away, I was just not at all in a place to be thinking about the tarot deck. And what happened, I know what happened with her things from the apartment as such, but the point is that my tarot deck, like someone took it from there, my dad. The thing is, he put some things into like boxes, you know, thinking it was hers. And then I was like, a couple of years later, I was like, hey Dad, do you know by any chance, like, have you seen like my tarot deck? You know, I left it in my grandma's, and he was like, what? Like, no, I haven't. And more years passed, and then I was once again at my dad's place, and I was like, hey, look, Dad, I know I asked you already, but did you really not see my tarot deck? Like, come on. And he was like, geez, I don't know, like, do you want me to go through the boxes with me? I'm like, yeah, I do want to do that. Yeah, let's do that. So we actually went to get the boxes of my like grandma's stuff. And guess what? My tarot deck was there. My tarot deck was there. So I was like all over the place. I was like super happy that I found it, because it was my first ever tarot deck. And even though I wasn't really it's not like I don't want to read with it anymore. I do sometimes, still. But I really wanted to like have it, you know, because it's like so symbolic, so beautiful. So yeah, so I found it and I'm super happy. And this is where I realized the cards are actually way smaller than I remember them to be, which is weird. I was literally telling him like, look, that is like, it's almost like playing cards, but like bigger, like much bigger. They're not much bigger. They're like this, okay. Not much bigger at all. Like look at it. And okay, this is a huge tarot deck I've been looking for all these years. But anyway, yeah, it is here, it's with me now. I'm going to show you the deck. This is like the end of the story time. I just really wanted to talk about this because it's such an exciting story for me anyway, because I swear I thought I lost the deck forever and ever, and I was just like gonna vaguely remember how it looked. All I remembered about this deck, by the way, was the color, the purple. I remembered the deck was purple, like it had purple backings, these are the backings, but that was all I could remember, quite literally. But now it's with me and I'm happy, and I'm going to show you some cards. Now, the creator of this deck, I had no idea who it was, because even on the book, like the book, hold on, the book doesn't even like say the creator's name. I thought it didn't. It does, but you have to open it. And the creator is Jonathan D, but I'm not sure, like, he's like, he wrote the book clearly, but did he also like design the cards? I suppose. This is not like a super known deck, I think. Let me know if you ever heard of this deck or if you have ever seen it, because I have no clue. Like, there are decks with their names, and then there's this deck which is literally called Tarot. So yeah, no name for this baby. But anyway, I'm going to show you a few cards now. As I'm gonna showing you the cards, let me just tell you. I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I think, I did not learn tarot with Rider-Waite-Smith. Not even with like scenic imagery as such. I mean, there are some scenic images on this deck, but this is a pip deck. Like, look at that. Look at that. Chalices. Also, the deck is in Slovak as well. So I'm going to be translating the cards for you. The cups in this deck are called chalices. So we've got 10 of chalices, and it's depicted by the cups only, okay? Meaning it is the pip deck. So as you can see in this card, for instance, in the Rider-Waite-Smith, you have the happy family looking over the rainbow. I didn't know that image when I was learning. I just got this. I got a pip 10 of cups, and still I learned with it. I mean, yeah, I learned with it in a predictive way, but still, it was my first ever encounter with tarot, and it was a pip deck, and I didn't have any problem with it, which is why, you know, which is why I always kind of like emphasize that. Like, you have the pentacles, 8 of pentacles. So we've got pips, basically. And as I said, I never mind. I never really, it never bothered me, if you will. Like, yeah, you have people. This is the Empress. You've got people in certain cards, but not in all of them. And also, what I want to say about this deck, looking at it now, after a few years, you know, like when I was a kid, I didn't know about tarot systems. I didn't know about the existence of Rider-Waite-Smith or Marseille or Thoth. I just found this tarot and I didn't know much else about it. Now, looking at it now, I'm not even sure what this deck is even based on. As in, I think in its totality, it is like its own thing, its own system. But some cards I feel are inspired on more traditional decks. There are some cards, I think some cards are inspired on Rider-Waite-Smith, but there's something that sparked my interest, and it's that some cards are definitely inspired on or based on Marseille as well as Thoth. And that's kind of wild to me, because another thing, like a side note if you will, because I'm already rambling in this video, so why not just continue. This year I decided I'm determined to get more familiar with some more traditional tarot systems. No honey, it doesn't mean I'm going to get myself a Rider-Waite-Smith original copy. Again, I think I said it already. I don't hate on the deck, I just don't vibe with it. So I don't feel a need to have one, sorry. I am very familiar with its imagery. I mostly read cards based on that system. Yeah, I acknowledge its existence. I do read cards based on that, I just don't own a copy and I don't feel like I need one. But what I do want to do is that I really do want to get myself, I definitely am going to get myself a Thoth copy. And maybe also Marseille. I don't know if I'm going to get them like both together at once, because as I mentioned in my Why Am I Not Actively Expanding My Decks collection video, I'm going to link it up here. I'm not sure if I'm not going to feel like overwhelmed with it, but I do really want to take my tarot studies into a different level. I don't want to say like a new level, like leveling up. Not necessarily. I just want to explore different systems as well, because I think, like, why not? I don't know why I haven't done that so far, and it just like somehow came to me, like that idea into my head, like, hey, let's do that. So I'm doing that. Speaking of that, I do think that some cards in this deck are definitely inspired on those systems, and I'm going to tell you which cards specifically I think. Now, as again, at the moment of filming this video, I don't have a Thoth deck nor the Marseille physical copy of those decks here, so I just like vaguely remember some images of those decks, okay? But let me show you, for instance, the Seven of Swords. Like, look at this card. This is definitely based on Marseille. I think the original Marseille just doesn't have the... Is it the... I'm sorry, the microphone decided to die on me all of a sudden, so I think a little bit of audio got cut there. So anyway, I was saying that I think that in a traditional Marseille there is no... Well, it's not like I think. I know there is no full moon depicted there, but I think the swords are arranged in that way, which is what matters after all. So yeah, let's continue with that. So that would be the Marseille influence. Now, this card, now correct me if I'm wrong, this one is, I'm not sure and I haven't looked it up, but this one kinda reminds me of Thoth deck for some reason. I think there is a card similar to that one, but I'm not sure if it's Six of Swords. We'll look it up afterwards. But yeah, for instance, there is that. Then, for instance, we have cards like these, Three of Wands, which this one reminds me of Rider-Waite-Smith, but there is not a person depicted, which I like, by the way. This is probably where my obsession, well, not obsession, but this is probably where my taste, my liking for not having people in decks started. I blame this deck, because there are people, but not everywhere, not in a minor arcana, I think. Then we have the Lover's card, which is, I mean, it kind of looks like the Rider-Waite-Smith Lovers, but then again, not really. See, this is what I meant when I said that this deck kind of follows its own system, because at some cards seem to be based on some traditional deck and others don't. And like, for instance, all the chalices in this deck are like this, I think. I'm not sure, but I think so. Hold on. The chalices. Yeah, there is just this kind of like turquoise background, which is my favorite color freaking ever. I love that color so much, you guys. Like such a beautiful color. And yeah, all of the chalices are arranged in that way. Now we've got the Judgment. By the way, this is not like a whole walkthrough, okay? I'm just going to be showing you a few cards, maybe giving you a little bit of comment to some of these. Okay? I'm just checking if you can really see that, so the world. Yeah, it's got, like, it's interesting. It's got like a little things, you know, like from other decks, but then again, it's like its own thing still. There's the Emperor. What is that? The Queen of Wands. Like, for instance, the Queen of Wands, for some reason, this is kind of weird and wild. This card reminds me more of Nine of Pentacles, I believe, than a Queen of Wands. But okay, there we go. Like, doesn't this remind you of the, like, the garden place? Wheel of Fortune. And going for the Pentacle suit. Yeah, another thing I really like about this deck is that the suits have these like uniform backgrounds, you know, like I think Pentacles. Let me just check it real quick. Yes. Yeah, the Pentacles have this kind of a yellow or mustard or whatever color is that as a background. The Cups have that turquoise that I showed you, right? This color. Then the Swords have that like deep purple. Okay, this kind of a background. And the Wands have like orangey one. Let's look at the King of Wands. Like there's this orangey kind of a background, kind of fiery. I like that. I really like how they did that because it's just, I don't know, it's pretty. Now, Two of Cups, such a beautiful card. Now I wanted to show you one card in particular that kind of reminds me of such a beautiful Devil card, this one, by the way, because if you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but the chains are not around the neck of the people, nor the legs, but they are coming like from the inside of them, which is wild. So interesting. But yeah, anyway. See, this is what reminds me of the traditional tarot systems as well. And what I was gonna say is that I really want to show you one card. I think one or two cards where I think they're very thought-based, because I have been showing you some like Marseille inspiration. I can't speak French. I don't know why I wanted to like do the French accent. I only speak English, Spanish, Slovak and Czech. But anyway, so I really wanted to see this is again Marseille kind of pip arrangement. But there is a card that really reminds me of Thoth, and I want to get to that one. Hopefully I'll be able to. The Strength. Hopefully I'll be able to get there. See, for instance, that is like so interesting about this deck. 5 of Wands. Now, to see one person, solely one person in the 5 of Wands card, that just gives you a whole new perspective, right? Because, for instance, I know I said there were no people in the Minor Arcana. Well, there are apparently. Again, I don't remember the deck like the back of my hand. I don't really actively read with it these days. I'm going to talk about it a little bit by the end of the video. But the thing is, having one single person in 5 of Wands really gives you this different perspective, because usually in Rider-Waite-Smith, for instance, okay, because we have a person, I'm going to refer to Rider-Waite-Smith system now. We've got several people like fighting with wands, okay, and it's like a conflict card. But it kind of makes you think about having conflicts with different people, because there are different people depicted on the card. But this card really kind of draws your attention to inner conflicts. Like, you can be conflicted with yourself, the conflict of your own interests, if you will, the conflict of, you know, something that you and yourself alone need to work on and resolve, sort of. It doesn't have to really imply more people. And of course, you can read that card that way in Rider-Waite-Smith as well. I'm just saying that this imagery kind of underlines that. It's kind of interesting. See, this again reminds me of Marseille. Now, I don't know, again, I'm going to repeat myself here, but at the moment of filming this video, I don't have a Marseille copy. But I think the plants, things, are a thing in Marseille, so yeah. Knight of Cups. See? Then again, we go with the same chalices arrangement. We've got the... this is the Hierophant. The Hierophant. I also kind of like the artwork in the deck because, as I said, I don't really like people depicted as such, which is something I'm going to be struggling with once I get myself a Marseille copy, because I don't like the majors in Marseille. I do feel drawn to Marseille, the traditional deck, because of the pips, because of the minor arcana, because I love that. I think I mentioned that in one video, but lately I've been feeling more drawn to working with pip decks, so not really scenic imagery, like people depicted, because I came to realize in my case that when I read a pip deck, so I only see, like, you know, the pentacles arranged in a certain way, the cups, the swords, the wands, etc. Well, etc. That's like the end of the suit. But anyway, I feel like it gives me more freedom of interpretation rather than when you are having like an actual scene depicted, even though I know that having an actual scene depicted can help you interpret a card. It can get your like understanding, like visual understanding going, but then again, having a pip card, just the element of the suit arranged in a certain way, it can, on the other hand, get your imagination going places without limits, if you will. Like there are certain, you know, like pros and cons to both, but I'm just saying that this is why I'm kind of feeling drawn to Marseille and thought as well. But I have a different reasoning or different reasons rather, why I'm currently feeling drawn to thought deck. But yeah, I'm going to talk about it in some other video, because yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about Aleister Crowley and thought. But anyway, not the point of this video. I'm sorry. I just want to say I love this artwork. I don't mind that there are people depicted in here, because I think they're really beautifully drawn. So yeah. Seven of Wands. See, this is like also so interesting. In a lot of Wands cards, you do see some sort of a scenery. Okay, this is not like the Cups, for instance, in this deck. That in Cups cards, they're simply cups. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try to do something. So in Cups card, there are just cups arranged in a certain way with like the turquoise background. But in Wands cards, we actually do have a certain scene, okay? We have some background, something is happening, as in we have the actual sky depicted, the actual scenery is the word I'm looking for, I think. And yet the lack of people in there kind of makes you think of that card in a different way than seeing people would, in my opinion. Like, this is such an interesting deck, I swear. It's a really interesting deck. Anyway, I don't know if I said it, but let me know if you ever saw this deck. If it's like a thing, or if it's just something generic that my country came up with to sell it. But no, I mean, that person, the Jonathan D. I think he's the creator of the deck. Anyway, let's continue. So I hopefully get to that card, the thought card. Like, for instance, this one, This one really do make me think of Rider-Waite-Smith. I can't think from the top of my head about the Ace of Wands, but in Rider-Waite-Smith there's a thing, right, about like a hand holding the ace of a suit. So as I keep saying, like this deck, you guys, is such a, this is the Page of Cups, such a weird but beautiful mix of systems. I like that. Going through cups again, the chalices. This one is the Queen of Pentacles. Now this one also reminds me of Rider-Waite-Smith system. Sun card. Moon card. Such a beautiful moon card, isn't it? Okay, going through Pentacles again. This is Nine of Pentacles. Cups. Knight of Swords. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker, Nine of Pentacles. Now something I love about this, like look at that. Look at the difference here, for instance. We've got the Knight of Swords, right? He's in like a really swift movement, like really going forward, really moving. So it's like this really swift moving energy. Versus the Knight of Pentacles, who is just standing still. Because Earth is one of the most slowly moving elements. And the Knight of Pentacles isn't really in a rush. He's really chill. I love that. I love those small details, you know, about those cards. Okay, now let me just go a little bit quicker here. Again, very interesting Three of Swords. These are the cards that really remind me of Marseille. Now this reminds me of Rider-Waite-Smith. Well, the Fool is his own thing, I think. I love this deck, you guys. I really love this deck. But hold on, okay. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker. I don't know for how long I'm shooting this video since the mic died and I lost count. But anyway, here comes again the Marseille arrangements of the swords, I believe. Like this really does remind me of the deck. Okay, the Tower. It's kind of wild. It looks like the sun is like blowing this, or like, what's the word? Like sending the lightning from its mouth. Wild. I told you I'm not going to walk you through the entire deck, and I'm walking you through the entire deck. I am sorry, it is what it is. But anyway, okay. I'm gonna just skip a few cards and just show you what I wanted to show you, because apparently it's in the freaking end of the deck. Here it is. Eight of Swords. Now I am sure this card is inspired by Thoth system. It looks almost entirely like the Thoth Eight of Swords, doesn't it? Thought readers, let me know, because again, I don't have Thoth here, but I think so. Four of Wands. Instead of like the celebration depicted, it's more like this stability being underlined, I think, by the shape of the wands. Interesting. Okay, Eight of Wands, flying through the air, swiftness, movements, very traditional, very typical of Rider-Waite-Smith. And then we have the, again, Swords. Swords are, I think swords are kind of like a mix, really a mix between Thoth and Marseille. I haven't seen a sword card that reminded me of Rider-Waite-Smith. Maybe the Courts. I'll have to check later. Then the Death, I think it's its own thing. Doesn't look like either of those three systems. Very beautiful Death card. I think it's one of my favorite. You know what's funny? Death is one of my favorite cards in tarot. However, when it comes to my actual tarot decks that I own in my collection, I don't really like death cards in those because, you know, I love my decks. Okay, I love my decks, but you know, sometimes you don't like certain cards, and for some weirdest reason, I don't like the death cards in my decks. It is what it is. It is what it is. 2 of coins, 2 of pentacles. What am I doing with my hand? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, we are almost finishing the deck. 2 cards. 2 more cards left. The Star. And the Magician is the one that we are finishing this off with. Okay. So, these were the cards. Now, as I showed you, the cards are really... They're not big. They're not big at all. If you shuffle them, it's like they fit perfectly in a hand, because I have some big tarot decks and oracle decks, and you know, I was always a person who liked like bigger cards, and I would always, like, when people would like bitch about like, this is like so uncomfortable to shuffle, I would be like, no, it's not, like, it's not a big deal. And as I said, I think I said in this video, I'm eating my hair, I'm kind of like constantly changing, and now I'm kind of in a place of my life where I'm grabbing mostly my smaller decks, because yeah, shuffling a big deck is uncomfortable. There I go. Now I understand you. Now I join your opinion. But still, I want to get like the large thought. So anyway, okay. So what else I want to tell you about this deck? It shuffles nicely. It's really like a normal paper cardstock. It's not a big deal, not a really good quality deck, but it still kind of survived being who knows where in some dusty box. By the way, this deck is so dusty because it was sitting there for years. I even moved across the freaking ocean. I lived in another continent and this deck was there waiting for me to come back and get it. And now it's with me, as I mentioned. But yeah, the thing I want to say is that it's kind of dusty. And yeah, I wanted to talk about if I read with it or not. I don't read with it very often. I use it for one thing specifically, and this is going to be, I don't know, might sound cliche, might sound... I just realized I'm shuffling in front of my microphone. I hope this wasn't too loud. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna stop shuffling now, okay? But anyway, yeah, the urge to shuffle the deck when you have it in your hands. But yeah, anyway, I usually use this deck when I want to connect with my grandmother, because of the obvious reasons why, you know, I told you about it in the beginning of the video. Basically, this deck was sitting in her apartment for a long time. And even after she passed away, it kept sitting in her apartment, and then it got into the box. So basically, I feel, and I used to read tarot for my grandma with this deck, and she would like, I think she would touch the deck as well. So I love this deck. I use it for that, or sometimes when I want to like, sometimes I do like a casual reading, but not so often. It's like it's this precious deck to me now. It lives in the box. That I'm very happy that I got for it, because as I said, it doesn't have a box. And something else I want to tell you about this deck. This is the only deck, I'm gonna repeat, the only deck in my collection that doesn't get regular cleansings. I haven't cleansed it since I found it with my dad. I used to, no, I don't remember if I was cleansing it much. I don't know. I wasn't really practicing witchcraft at the age of 11, okay? So I don't really remember if I was cleansing the deck in any way. Probably not. But the thing is, after it was sitting in my grandma's place, after I got it back, I haven't cleansed it. And I crazily cleanse every deck I have, okay? I cleanse my magical tools in a wild way. I don't like other people's energy. This is gonna sound so bad, but yeah, I don't like people's energy or places' energy or whatever being like sitting on my magical spiritual tools decks, etc. So I cleanse my decks really regularly, but this one I don't. because I want to keep that, like, my grandma's touch in it. Romantic soul over here. So yeah, this is something special to me. Now again, I want to shuffle it. Okay, no. So I think that'll be it for this video. I hope this isn't like too long. It probably is at this point. But yeah, this was my first ever tarot deck. Now, as you can see, there was a lot of Marseille influence, Thoth influence, Rider-Waite-Smith influence as well. But still, this deck is like its own system. And that was my first deck, and I'm more than happy with it, and I'm like super happy I have it again. I'm sorry if I have said that many times in this video, but I'm just like really happy about it. And yeah, let me know again if you have seen this deck before. Let me know if you like this deck, if you find it interesting, or if you find it weird or whatever. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I think that would be it for me for today. As I said, I'm going to be working more with some traditional tarot systems throughout this year, so you are probably going to be seeing those on my channel as well, so stay tuned for that if it's something you would be interested in. And I invite you to watch other videos available on my channel if you like. Also subscribe if you like my videos, it would make me happy. And that would be it for me for today. Stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!